This episode of Stories contains scenes of strong language. Viewers' discretion and parental guidance is advised.
Hi guys, I want to specially welcome you to another edition of Stories. Now. Today is a different one entirely. I have been praying to God for a story such as like the one we're about to listen to today. And the reason is simple. Sometimes when we teach what we teach, there is a fraction of the society that doubts if some of the things we talk about are real. And sometimes we forget to, as church people, that there is a demography that our approach to teaching might not be capturing. Today we have the story that is full of many wonders. Journey into the deep and how God brought her out. So permit me to call my guest today Anonymous. And I'm just going to allow her share a story straight up. Everything you'll be listening to today is real. And you will have to sit back and learn from this. Share the story with people. Share the link. Invite someone to join. You want to grab a popcorn and sit back and listen and be blessed. Thank you so much for coming to the studio today.
Thank you, Apostle.
So according to our custom, we're just going to allow you to hit the ground running. Share your story with us.
All right. Thank you. Hi, I'm Anon.
Yeah.
All right. So as far back as I can remember, let me pick up from when I was 7 years old. At the time, they had brought in one house girl to come stay with me. And I didn't really know much of what was happening, but I know that because my mom was a banker and my dad, he just wasn't around. Just wasn't around, maybe in the shop or something. So this lady would always come, and now we call it sexual assault. Then I didn't know what it was. I just know that she comes, kisses me, and she merges our private parts together.
A lady?
Yes, a lady. Merges our private parts together, and she just does something funny, and I just reach a point where I feel some pleasure, and that was it. So fast forward to, this was also happening to, I took this character, or I took this thing I had learnt to my neighbor.
How old were you then?
7.
Seventh.
Yeah, 7, 8. So I went to my neighbor and we'll play mommy and daddy. So when we play mommy and daddy,
Boy.
a girl.
A girl.
Yes. So when it gets to the place to where let's go and spend the night, we're done for the day, let's retire, then we'll touch ourselves. And this happened with my friend, this happened with my cousins as well. So fast forward to when my parents now separated. So I followed my mom. Then I was still in primary school. So this was also happening in primary school as well. I joined this clique where we were always going to the toilet to touch ourselves. And as a primary 6, we're masturbating with chairs. We just sit in between, put our leg in between the chairs and just be naughty. And so that happened, and I would always just go back home. Nobody really cared about what happened in school and all of that. So now my mom was she was a banker, so she had gone to work, and I was staying with her. But after school, I'll go back to my dad's place and just stay in his provision.
They were not together?
They were not together. They had separated now. They had separated. So they separated after the house girl incident. They didn't know, but what made them separate was another entire different thing that nobody has really come out to tell me this was what happened.
Till now.
Till now. I've not gotten a clear story on what happened. So they separated, and I would always come back from school, come to my dad's place and spend the time there. I would just stay in the provision store. So nobody really asked me how was school, nobody really cared. And I started, I didn't even know that I was supposed to be asked, first of all, but I started becoming used to myself. You know, up till now, my mom would really tell me that no one really trained me. I trained myself. Yeah, she would always say that. So when my mom comes back from work, she'll drive to my dad's place, pick me up, and then we'll go back home, and then I go to school again. So fast forward into secondary school, I went to a boarding house. It was only girls, but then nothing happened. At least throughout my junior secondary school, nothing significant happened. But whenever I come back on holiday, during those periods as well, I would always come back to the house, and I was still with my mom now, but I'll go visit my dad from time to time. Then fast forward to my JS3, we had the long holiday before senior secondary school. That was the first time I got into a relationship per se. Now I was 14 years old at the time, and I met this personnel who was like a worker in my school, and he invited me over to his place. So I went to his place, and he just opened pornography and showed me, and we watched. And when he was like, "Do you know what they're doing?" I said, "No." He said, "Okay, that these people, what they're doing, they really love themselves, and that's what he's going to do to me because he really loves me." So I was excited, and yeah, we had sex. And
How old were you then?
I was 14.
1 and 4.
Yes, I was 14. So we had sex, and okay, at the time before the sex, he had asked me if I was a virgin, and I affirmed because, of course, I've not had sex with any man. So, and when I knew what sex was, I knew that I had not had sex, so I was still a virgin. But after the sex, I didn't bleed according to him. So he said I was not a virgin, and he ended things, that I lied and all of that. So I didn't even feel any way. I just said, okay, on to the next. So, and of course.
Was he much older than you?
Yes, he was 28.
And you were 14?
Yes, I was 14.
Twice your age.
Yes, twice my age. He was 28. So I came back home, and I went to his place from my mom's place. So something about me was that I was very, very good with lying. I knew what to tell my mom that would always give me permission to leave the house. I'll tell her something's happening in school and all of that. And she's like, okay, no problem. So now I was now at home, and I just found myself open to any guy that was ready to give love. So far, you're ready to, I didn't even care about the money. In fact, most of them, I was the one feeding them.
You found yourself glued to any guy that was ready to give love.
Yes. Or what I understood as love.
Yes.
Let me put it that way.
You yes. You know, I've once spoken about this before.
Yeah.
Why do you think that was happening?
Okay, why do I think that was happening? Yeah, now I know something. I just know that it seems like something was missing.
Could it be your dad?
My mom, yeah, because when I see how I'm on TikTok most of the times, and I see the relationship between father and daughters, I'm like, in fact, before my dad passed, I have a stepsister. And there was one time I saw the way he had carried her and played with her, and I'm like, I never had this. I remember vividly one time I came back from school, I had drawn something, and I was trying to show my dad that that's CCC, and he pushed me away.
He pushed you away?
Yes, I think I was maybe 6 at the time. I was in primary 1 or primary 2. He pushed me away and like, go and show your mommy that has money. That was the statement. So when I saw him having that with my stepsister, I was happy for her, in all honesty, but I just said, okay, I never had this. So I'd always just open myself to any guy, and yes, they were coming in their numbers, as far as, because now word got out on the street that I was cheap. And not only that I was cheap, I had money to give. Yes, I had money to give because my dad was running the provision store. So anytime I go and visit him, I would always make it an agenda to steal as much as I can steal and come back home to give some to my mom as well, because she was struggling. She had lost her job at the bank. She was struggling as well. And then to feed whoever boy was around at the moment. So, and whenever this guy, maybe he was done or was satisfied and left, the next one came, and I didn't even find a problem with it. I could get hot, like I would cry, like okay, but so far there was another person to replace. I was okay.
So you could not be alone.
Yeah, I could not be alone
without someone in your life.
Yes.
Giving you a sense of validation or love.
Yes. Yes, I couldn't be alone.
And this was because you did not have that father's presence in your life.
Yes.
To show you what real love should have been, father to daughter.
Yeah.
So you find yourself moving from this relationship to another. Within that period of time, you were alone without a relationship. What's the maximum, how would I put it now? The maximum number of days that you spend, or months, or years that you spend without being with anybody alone?
None.
Huh?
No.
None?
None. I always need the next person.
While this one is ending, you're already bringing in the next person.
Yes. You know, one thing about we ladies, we always have guys that are just there checking up on us and all of that. So immediately this one was ending, I already knew that, okay. In fact, most of the time, they didn't even need to ask me, can you be my girlfriend and all of that. Once you just come, we have sex. And yes, the relationship has started. So none of them were really even termed relationship in, how will I put it?
Yes.
Yeah, in that kind of manner. So we just come, we have sex, and okay, he's my boyfriend, straight, and all of that. So fast forward until I got into SS3. So we had this man, he was an accountant in the school then. So I had a guardian in his office, but in house you'd always have somewhere you got meet to uncle, I want to call my parents and all of that. So I had my guardian in his office. And I came in that day and I saw the accountant, and he was like, hey, you carry my bag to my car. So I carried his bag to the car, and he told me, come and meet me in the night, I'm coming back. So I came back to meet him that night, and we had sex. And
you were in secondary school?
Yes, I was.
And he was the accountant of the school?
Yes.
Meaning that he was elderly?
Yes, 37.
37 as at that time?
Yes.
And you were around what age?
16.
16?
Yeah.
And the school management didn't know?
No. They didn't know. So I met with him, I had sex, he gave me 5,000 naira. I was so excited. I had a lot of money. I went to go and spoil my friend.
That 5,000 to you then, it was much?
Yes, it was. It was much. We bought gala and samosa and coke and a lot of things. Just bought them for my friends because buying things was a way to get friends for me. I didn't really have any genuine friends. Any friends I had around, I had to buy them something for them to stay. I always had to show that I have money. I have something to give you in terms of money so that you can stay. So there was no really genuine friendship. And I didn't want to be alone as well for friends. I wanted to belong.
You were giving your friends money?
Yes, I was.
You were giving them things?
Yes, I was.
Because you were trying to get their friendship?
Yes. This happened in primary school as well, where I had stolen money and I bought things for the whole class so that everybody would.
Because you wanted acceptance?
Yes, that's the word. Yes, that's the word. So it happened in primary school as well and just continued like that. So this man, he would come. So we now started a relationship again with this one. So he would come in the night, sneak me out from school, we'll go clubbing. Yes. We'll
the accountant of the school?
Yeah. Yes. We'd go clubbing and he would bring me back. So during those WAEC period where you are allowed to leave the school, maybe you can take permission that you want to go and write something, just GCE exactly. So he would take permission on behalf of my parents and we'll go to his house and I will stay for as long before he would bring me back. So I had, I think that was like the first good relationship I had because there was the love, there was the money, there was the spoiling.
Your dad?
And all of that.
Did he ever get to know about all this?
No.
Your mom?
No.
She still doesn't know.
She still doesn't know. She still doesn't. I was even having a conversation with her last night. And I was just telling her that, Mom, do you know that God has really kept me? Because she knows I used to leave the house. Of course, we're staying together.
Yes.
So those days where I will go for carnival, 3 days,
Yes.
I will not come back. And when I come back, she's always crying and this. I'm always looking at her like, I'm just having fun. Relax, it's not that deep. I didn't know the gravity of it. So I was just telling her yesterday that God really protected me in a lot of ways. I don't have HIV. I don't have HIV. Okay, I'm battling with toilet infections. In fact, not just infections. I've used drugs and it just keeps coming back. And yeah, I'm battling with that one. But I didn't have HIV. I wasn't pregnant. I wasn't kidnapped. I wasn't. The terms of kidnapping, there was a time where I just took a stroll. My mom was at her shop because she was trying to run a restaurant at the time. And I just had to take a stroll. And someone just came to meet me and was like, hi, please, do you know so street? I said, I don't know. And he was like, okay, follow me. Let's look for the street together. And I hopped on the bike with him. And they took me to a deserted house, brought in bag of money, bag of whatever was that, blue paper. And they dipped it inside one chemical and was like, it turned to 1,000 naira notes. And the man was like, he has about, was it 12 million naira of that?
Of that?
Yes, that he was going to, when we turn it all into money, we're going to share it. We're 3 guys, and I was the only girl.
And we'll share 3 million?
Yes, so, yes. So we'll share it, but now we need to go and buy chemicals to wash all the money. So they had told me that I should go home and look for money. So the man told me I had to swear not to tell anybody about this. If I do, I will die. So for me, in order for me to swear, I said I had to open my breast and they had to touch my nipple. And I didn't even know this father on their hand, he appeared at the back and all those drama. And I went home to start looking for money that was not in the house. I was calling the man that there's no money in the house. He said there is money I should find. So I didn't call the man again and all of that. So now, this now continued with me. Apart from the man that I was now dating in school, when I still come on holiday, I still needed guys around that would come and would sleep together and all of that. So yeah, that was happening. I went out every time. Every minute I had the opportunity. In fact, I joined this group of girls, Lagos girls. They're mostly following Yahoo guys, and I would go out with them. The Yahoo guys now, they had this apartments. They were 4. So one of them was like, let me make this one my smallie now. I said, no wahala. So one day, I wanted to go back to school. My dad now had got some provisions normally, but I wanted extra. I wanted to carry 3 sets like my mates were carrying to school. So I said I needed money. I needed like 20k to get extra 2 sets of provisions to give my mom out of the money as well. So the Yahoo guys were there. They were standing. One of the girls was with me. So I was like, I need 20k. So they were now like, whoever I sleep with, they'll give me the 20k. So amongst them. So one of them was like, na me get them. The other one was like, na me get them. The other one was like, na me get them. Then I said I should choose. So I chose one. And we went. We had sex. And he didn't give me the money. So he didn't give me money. He stopped taking my calls and all of that. That was the end of it. And I was just like, okay, let me just carry myself and go to school.
Where was your dad in the midst of all this?
He was in his house with he had remarried at the time. So he was with his
And your mom?
family. My mom was around. She was battling with debts and, embarrassment here and there. So she wanted to be around, but she just couldn't. Let me just put it that way. She just
How many
couldn't.
were you?
It was just I. So my mom had to go for another child. She said she did surrogacy or something. No, not surrogacy. Where they give you, she went to spend bank or something. I don't know. That's the story. And got the child, a male child.
You believe the story?
2013. This story came out recently because she had portrayed to me that there was a man that was coming let me say I was 13 years old. He was coming to see my mom. And one time I wanted to go and meet my mom and I opened the door and I caught them having sex. And that just happened.
And you were a teenager then?
Yes, I was. So now this child comes and I'm thinking that is the guy's father. So my brother has really gone through a lot. And one day I just picked up my mom's phone, looked for the man's number, and I chatted him. I was like, what? Even if you don't want this one, at least be sending monthly upkeep. And that was how the man told me that he's not the father of the child. And I should ask my mom for the truth. So I had the conversation with her. We're just walking, and I just popped it up. That I asked this man, and he said he's not the child. She was like, why did you do that? Why didn't you tell me? I said, okay, who is the father? Because his bills needs to be sorted. And that was when she told me that she just had to get another child so I won't be alone. And all of that. So that happened. Now, fast forward until I entered university. I was dating this particular guy before I entered university, and he was way older than me. I would say 10 years now. He saw all the loopholes. He saw I needed validation. I had low self-esteem. I was craving for acceptance and all of that, and he really, really preyed on it. As in to the extent that one time in the relationship, he told when I caught him cheating, I went through his phone. He was like, why did you go through my phone? Then he told me that, do I know that when he thinks of this girl and this girl and this girl, thinks of all the girls, it's only me that he finds suitable, that he wants to spend the rest of my his life with. And I was so happy that I was the one chosen.
I didn't mind being with other guys.
I didn't mind. I was so happy that, yes, even though he was talking to all of them, I was the one chosen. And mind you, I was providing for this guy. Yes.
How old were you at this point?
17.
You were... Wait. You have the track record of being a breadwinner in your relationships.
Yes. Yes, I did. I didn't mind. I had this mentality that men that, in fact, I still do to an extent, that men that have money would always downgrade you because they have the money. Yes, because they have the money, they wouldn't give you the love.
Maybe I'm just going to answer to that because you said you still have a bit of that notion.
Yeah.
First, it depends on what kind of man. If the man is in Christ, first, we don't even have fellowship with anyone who is not in Christ. So when a man is in Christ, his mind is renewed after a new order. So it's not about money. And besides, you're making yours.
Exactly. Exactly. So I've always said money is no problem because I'll make mine, so I don't have a problem with money. So I didn't mind as far as they were just giving me the love. I can give them the money I would. When my mom cooks food, like she could make just 2 cups of rice and she's calculating that, okay, if we sell to like 3 customers at least, 1.5 will come out or something. I will now steal out of it and carry and give my baby. Oh my goodness. So I'm gonna give him all. I was taking care of him. In fact, there was one Sunday that we went out and I couldn't go and give him food. The insult I got
from him,
I'm telling you, that because I'm the one feeding him right, that is why I don't want to bring food. In fact, this was not even making sense. But then I was now feeling bad. That, okay, don't feel that way. He was owing a lot of people on the streets. And in fact, the notion was whenever his babe comes, the debts will be cleared. And I always had to look for money to find a way to clear those debts. I always had to. So it was really a lot. I got into the university and one thing led to another. I started, when you get into university, you start learning some things. I started learning some things and unlearning some things. And I was like, no, I don't deserve this guy. This guy does not deserve me. So when he now threatened with breakup and all of that, I just let him go. And I already knew the next person.
Just next.
Exactly. I already knew the next. So I entered the relationship immediately. That one didn't even last. The next one was 2020, COVID. So I went to stay with my dad during the COVID. And while I was trying to bond with my father, it wasn't really possible again. At that
You're trying
point.
to bond with him?
Yes.
But bonding with him was no longer possible.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't really possible because I had grown. I'd grown by myself, and I didn't need anything again. Like the mentality I just had there was provide. Shall bring money. Shall bring money. Just bring money. That was just all I had there. So, but in that space, I now got to understand that my dad is a good person. I got to understand that my
Was
dad
that
is
your
a
first
good
time of
person.
having such time with him?
Yes, that was the first time. That's the first time I was spending the longest with my dad because anytime I go and spend the holiday, I go and spend time with my dad and I say, let me even sleep over. My stepmother was always giving me a headache. And when she gives me, he remarried. So when she gives me a headache, it affects him. Him, he will not eat. He will be like, there's no peace in his house. So he would go and stay out. And I was like, okay, instead of my father to not be having peace, let me just not be coming and be spending time with him. So I stopped it. It was really bad because there was the time I came to visit my dad and this woman carried her son. But I think maybe he was 6 years or 5 years at the time. And he said, look at this girl, she's a beggar. So it was that bad. But at the point when she even did that to me, you can imagine because I didn't feel anything. I just laughed because I was so happy that I would go and meet the boy that loves me. Back home.
So this is it. When there is no love coming from your immediate family, you tend to look for it everywhere else that you can find it.
Everywhere else.
And once people see the loophole out there that you are a young lady who is looking for love, for validation, they take advantage of you, sexually and financially.
Financially and sexually.
It's a pattern.
Yeah, it is. Like, I remember one of the time you were preaching and you said, ladies who don't have their dad around are always loose.
Tend to be loose unless God intervenes.
Yes.
You know, I was dragged for that, and I just felt it's okay. And I remember someone that was dragging me for that. And a lady said, dragged, insult. In fact, I did not even read it. Somebody just told me about it. It was all those stuff. And then somebody put in the comment section that what this man is teaching is true, even in your life. Was talking to the girl. That, I mean, you had this issue now. As a teenager, you had aborted about 5 pregnancies. Because the role of a father is beyond the ability to just give birth to a child. Discipline, love, and by love I mean healthy love, and then security. Because once these things are complete in the family, there is nothing the child is looking for outside again.
Outside, there's nothing. There isn't. My mom was comparing because she was always saying, oh, this is your midnight prayers. Me, I've been praying. See where I am. Don't do this thing. She was just complaining, and she now compared myself to one of her friends. Like, families were family friends with our family. So when my dad and my mom were getting married, they were chief bridesmaid and all of that. They are my godparents as well. So their children now are abroad.
Okay.
And, they have a very healthy family. They go on vacations and all of that. And she now mentioned that, can't you see that family? See how they are not even stressing themselves. The children are doing fine. They don't pray this prayer that you are praying. I'm like, Mommy, we're coming from 2 different places. We are coming from these people have their family provided for them all through, not just financially, security, love, everything that a home is meant to be. We're coming from 2 different places. So it's just really a lot.
And these things you're saying, is what I've been trying to communicate this. That sometimes it is not like some children are not smart in school. There's a lot to deal with because of a defective background, and before they now even start talking about measuring up with their own equals.
My God. So 2020, I went to spend the holiday with my dad, and I started getting to know at least what he likes, what he doesn't eat, and all of that.
That was your first time of knowing what he likes and what he doesn't like.
Yes.
Where was his wife at that point?
They had taken her back to the village, the whole family drama. They said she wants to kill my father, this one, that one. So his sisters, again, these sisters that are always scattering his family, came and shipped her back to...
Were the sisters involved in your mom's exit?
Yes. They were, in fact, when you preach something on Sunday, I had to show my mom the excerpts. And she was like, yes, I like this, your apostle. So I said, Mommy, don't worry, when you're ready to share your story, because she just has her own story that sometimes I don't even want to hear because it's just a lot. It's just a lot. They were involved in a lot of things, and I even got to see for myself. Because I now saw that my father is a good person, my mother is a good person. Both of them are nice. I love both of them. So what happened? So I really got to see that his sisters just came and scattered the family. So yeah, my dad were trying to start getting to know him then. Now, this boy that I was dating before or while in the university and before I entered the university, the one who had taken advantage of all the loopholes he saw, he was always coming back. And for some reasons, I was always accepting him.
Is he from a good home?
No, he's not.
That's it. I'm sorry just to intrude. You see, when a man is not from a healthy background, that love has been communicated the way it should be, such a person doesn't know how to love. He wants to love, but because the healthy emotion has not been built, the only thing he can interpret as love is touch. And that's why sometimes it takes the grace of God for two people who are coming from defective background to really get it right. Yes, they may smoothen it over time, but if they meet at the point that they have not grown to know the effect, they'll be fine.
Yeah. So he kept coming back, and this time I had accepted him. So now I didn't know he was coming back for the money.
Hey,
Yes. So he was still asking.
you were financing them.
Yeah, I was financing them. My dad wasn't, it's not like he was rich, but then I always had a way to just get money from him.
A little change.
Yeah, that I would save or something. There was a time I had one savings in school. I saved like 15,000 naira. I tried, so I piggy vest. He now came back. He has one rice business, so that he wants to buy this one. That I said I don't have money. This is what I have. He said I should bring it. Don't worry, that he will borrow it. I now gave it to him. When I had holiday, I asked him, babe, how far the money you borrowed now? He was like, wow, that he didn't know I'm this wicked. That so if he's owing other people, he will be owing his babe as well. That I'm supposed to leave the money for
gaslighting.
him. I'm telling you,
Abi? Is that what they call gaslighting? Because this is, for those who are not Gen Zs like us, to know what that means. But it was guilt tripping you. When he collected the money, he said, borrow me.
He said, borrow me. And when I asked for the money back, he said, wow, so if he's owing every other person, he will be owing his babe as well. And that time, I was preparing to go back to school. I even bought power bank. He was not like that. He's still even telling me that he needs money and buying power bank. I now told him that this power bank I bought, sure you know that it's so that I can show my mom that at least see what you bought for me. Because my mom was always like, this boy you're following, he's not even buying anything for you. He's not adding anything to your life, this and that one. So I now told him that this power bank I bought is for your own reputation. Make you get things small for when my mama did. At least. So it was a lot. So fast forward to that time he had come back again and I was funding him. So my dad now had his birthday around November. So I said, let me just first birthday I'm celebrating with him. Let me buy cake.
That's 2020.
And all of that, yes. Let me buy cake and all of that. He was asking me for money at the time. So I told him, no, I wanted to celebrate my father. So he said, he started again. That wow, he's asking me for money. And I want to do ordinary birthday. He's looking for means of survival. He's trying to look for a way he can make things stable for us. He wants to open...
for us.
Yes, for us. He wants to do bend down select. He wants to buy a bag.
He was not a graduate? So this guy was not a graduate?
No, he wasn't a graduate.
What was he doing as at that time?
He was a writer and a relationship coach.
Relationship coach. Wow.
Writer and relationship coach.
Who was he coaching?
I don't know.
Was coaching people online?
I was coaching people online, no. Or trying to get clients because he was even using my Facebook account, his Facebook account, just trying to get people. I later discovered he was using my Facebook account to talk with my friends and even ask them out. When one of them had told me that this was what he did, and I confronted him, he said he wanted to test her if she was a good friend for me. Recently, I discovered that he got into a relationship with one of them, and that one, he told her that he was coaching me. We never dated,
And
I was an info, and that was
You were
why
what?
I was an infomaniac. Like I liked sex,
Uh-uh.
so that was why we were even having sex. So he was helping me. I had a high libido. He said a lot of horrible things about me to the lady. So when my other friend reached out to me and told me that this was what he said, I was laughing. She said, "Are you not pained?" I said, "You don't know who you're dealing with."
But at that point, the other girl was already in love with the guy.
Yes, he had gone to see her, and when he was leaving her, he stole her bags that she was selling, stole her money. So now they were reaching out to me as per if I had his location.
How will relationship coach be stealing girlfriend's bag? This it is it's wrong. A relationship coach. Oh God. Ladies should pray. Problems are in sizes. He get married such a man. He will steal the child's Cerelac now.
He did a lot. I even heard he has given birth. He sent me the baby's picture one time. He did a lot, Apostle. He did a lot. There was a time he sent me one message. I think I need to read that message out.
You still have the message?
Yeah, I saved it.
You saved it?
I had to save that message.
After several years?
Recently, very recently. I had to read that so that you would know the depth of what he saw me as what he pictured me as. Okay, this was the first message. This message he sent, he attached my nude. Because nude was a normal thing for me. I was giving out my nude. So he said, "Just in case, this is just how cheap you are and would always be. You were never loved and can never be loved because you were brought up with no dignity and a very low self-esteem, with a attitude that pushes you to you see, because you're an infomaniac that can't just stop. You really need to watch your mouth. Your hands aren't clean. Some of us already left the past. This girl and I was in love, okay? That is the girl now that he stole her bag. Was in love and I never regretted dating her. And hey, you should ask. The amount I spent on her and how I saved her after being beaten and publicly molested in her compound like an animal by her boyfriend. Ask her how much I paid the policeman to get him arrested and how much I paid after he was arrested and made necessary amends for assault on her. You see, next time you really need to be careful with one-sided stories. It might get you dealt with beyond your thoughts. And just so you know, she and I dated and had several days of sex for over a week, and I'll gladly say it over and aloud. I enjoyed the few weeks spent with her than the years spent with you. A day in love of making with her is better than all the moments spent with you. You were the one dating yourself, definitely not me." That was the message.
And this was because he saw that you were not loved anywhere else.
Yes.
And that was the way he saw you.
Yes. That was the way he saw me.
So let me ask, when did deliverance, or should I use the word healing, begin for you? At what point did it start?
2022. 2022, I met a guy just after I'd left another relationship again. I entered this one with him. But I think this time around I had a month's break because I know we met April 4th. Yes. We met April 4th and we started dating on May 1st. So when I got into this relationship, I opened up, not very much, but I did tell him the number of my body counts. I told him my body counts and he just accepted me and he helped me to see myself.
He didn't take advantage of it?
No, he did not. He did not. He helped me see myself, come out of where I was, made me love myself. I would even tell him that, I'm battling with low self-esteem. He said, "I know, don't worry, I'll help you come out of it." And it's not like he himself was an expert in all of this. He wasn't, he was just trying his best. We had come to your sermon together the day you mentioned that many girls who didn't grow up with their father tend to be loose unless he was there. And when we went back,
he was there.
yes, when we went back, he told me, okay, now I understand why you were that way. So he really helped me come out of it. He did. And I think he himself was going through some sort of healing, although I was his first relationship.
Really?
Yes, I was his first relationship. And he just accepted me. I believe he accepted me because he felt he had done worse on his own end.
Yeah, how could he have done worse if you were his first relationship?
Not in the term of relationship, no.
In terms of what?
The life he had lived.
What kind of life?
Okay, how do I explain this? He has been a thief. He has done terrible. He joined cults. He dropped out of school, let me put it that way, and then deceived everybody in the family that he is done, and he's even doing NYSC. So I was the one that knew all those aspects of him. He opened up to me that this is it. So I believe him seeing himself that way, that okay, he has done a lot of things that doesn't sit well with the kind of background he was coming from. He was coming from a Christian background, Catholic family, that there was a lot of love and the family provided the best. So he was the one that just went astray. Let me not say on his own. There might have been some lapses as well, maybe in terms of family care and all of that, but he just went astray. So he was really seeing himself as that black sheep.
You know, in the midst of all this, family dysfunctionality, as hurtful as it can be, there is still that place of personal responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Because sometimes people can come from fantastic place,
exactly,
and they mess everything up.
Yes.
And sometimes somebody can come from a very dysfunctional background and take responsibility.
Yeah. So he saw himself as that black sheep and then saw me as that black sheep and just accepted me and started helping me to come out of it. Then fast forward until when I lost my dad.
When did you lose your dad?
Last year, July.
You said 2020 was the first time you were trying to bond as father and daughter.
Yes.
Meaning that the bonding didn't last.
No, it did not, because he now fell sick. He fell sick. He had surgery on hernia surgery.
Okay.
Yes. Then after the surgery, he started manifesting symptoms of liver cirrhosis, speaking gibberish. And it was just I and him in the house that day. When he started speaking, I didn't understand what he was saying. So I was crying. I called his friend.
Was that after the surgery?
Yes. Surgery? It was after the surgery.
How many months after the surgery?
Let's say a month.
Okay.
Let's say a month.
So he started showing symptoms of liver cirrhosis?
Yes.
The eye turned yellow?
Yes.
Ascited? Was ascited? You had ascites?
Not yet.
No stomach blood?
No bloated stomach yet. So they rushed him to the hospital, and that was when family wahala now started. Because now the answers were now coming and saying that I want to kill my father. Yes.
They said you were the one trying to kill him?
Yes. And I wanted to kill him, and I don't know how to take care of him. I don't even know how to cook. Do his semo very well. They were just coming up with a lot of things, and I was confused because I was just experiencing this as well. I didn't understand what was going on. So from there, one of my auntie, who is a doctor, now decided that, okay, let's take him to the east, and I will be able to handle him and give him the medical services that he needs. So I decided to stay back, that I will join them in the village later. So that was how the whole bonding now ended. So now I was at home, and there was this guy that was now at home as well, that was monitoring and managing his bar at the time.
So your dad was running the bar. He wasn't much of a Christian?
No.
Okay.
No, he read his Bible very well. He was a very, very wise man, intelligent and all of that. But when he recently came into Christianity after the sickness, that was when he came into Christianity, came into God. So there and then, when they took him, and I started dating the guy that was managing my dad's bar. as well. This was like 2020 before I went back to school. So when I went back to school, for some reason, I had malaria first of all. Then I was now manifesting symptoms of bipolar disorder, and they had to take me to a psychiatric ward. And the doctor was like, there are a lot of events that has happened that your brain can no longer carry. That is why you just had to manifest this. So then he started trying to ask me what had happened, and I didn't really open up. So he just assumed that, okay, it's because your parents are not staying together. That's why you manifested this. So he started trying to call my mom and call my dad. You know, people have to show her love and this and that. So we were just trying to be there. But
what were the symptoms you were manifesting?
Okay, I was hyperactive. I was violent. When you say violent now, I wanted, if you don't allow me to do what I want to do, I'll be very aggressive with you. I remember there was a time where we wanted to go for a night party, and they were like, they've locked the gates. I was threatening the porter, because I was staying in the school hostel in the university, that I was going to go and jump the fence. And I was, my mood swings were just, I will start crying. Before you knew it, I would jump on the table and be shouting. And people already knew that I was a jovial person. And that is another thing I was always very happy. But I was always feeling lonely.
Yeah.
But I was so happy.
Externally.
Yeah. So when that stuff started manifesting, they were thinking this is just me being hyper again. But it had already gone out of hand. In fact, there was a point where I just gathered people in my class and I was like, let's go and eat in the fancy restaurants. I went there and I was like, I'll pay, don't worry. Anybody that wanted anything, I'll pay. Don't worry, I'll pay. I was just saying I'll pay, and I didn't have the money. So I got into a lot of debts from that. Then what happened next? I can't even remember some of the things that happened. These things I'm saying are things that people told me that I was doing.
It was
that night that I was threatening to jump off the fence, that they came with the ambulance. They didn't let me know. They just told me that, okay, the bus carrying to the party is here. I should just enter the back seats. So I entered the back, we sat down, and boom, they carried me to
You must have done more drama than they told you.
Yes.
Because if someone was just getting angry, it might not get to the point of ambulance. I'm trying to have a mental picture. You must have. I'm going to love this place now.
Yes.
They may not, for the sake. I'm just saying. I mean, thank God we can talk about this now and laugh.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just saying that things went really sad at that point.
Very sad. Very sad. So they had to trick me to the hospital, and then they had to give me sleeping drug, and from there they moved me to the psychiatric ward.
Wow.
And then my mom and my brother came to stay with me. And yeah.
You were there for how many months? How many weeks?
I was there for days. 10 days. So a week and 3 days. I was there for a week and 3 days because I was not having it. When they were carrying me to the psychiatric ward, I was telling them that nothing is wrong with me. You people should leave me alone. They were like, they're going to chain me. I said, people will not chain.
The issue with being in a psychiatric ward is that every time you attempt to tell them you ought not to be there, the demonstration look like that's why you ought to be there. So each time you try to say, see, I am fine. I say, look at her eyes. The pupils is dilating.
Exactly.
So it's the most difficult thing to say in the psychiatric ward is I'm fine. Someone believes that I'm the one that judges. God.
Oh well.
My God.
So it was until I became calm and I didn't even care whether I was in the psychiatric ward or not. That was when they now
that's the OT.
released me.
That's it. Any attempt to get tired and say, I'm done now, you need to let see, that is what we are saying. Another anti this and then give the person again.
Yeah. So after I left there, I now got depressed for the first time. I discovered that the drug they were giving me was making me depressed. My mom had to come back with me to Abuja. After she
there
came
are drugs that will make you drowsy.
Actually.
Your muscles, you can't really be violent.
Actually. So they moved me. I came back with my mom. Do you know that in that depression, that depressed state, that first guy, Gogo called me to ask me for money. My mom had to take the phone. I was like, if you call
That's the
this
relationship
number
coach.
again. Yes.
Relationship coach.
Yes.
Is he still coaching people now?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because there's someone's daughter online thinking they're taking counsel.
I don't know. I won't have to carry the phantom. If you call this number again, I would arrest you. So that was it.
Your mom is learned.
Yes, she is very learned.
Your dad is not.
He is.
He is too.
Yes. Very learned. Very, very learned.
Let's talk about your healing.
Yes.
How did you get to this point that you are? The memory I have of the first time I saw you should be January. The January or March?
March. Has to be March. That was when I came.
You were with us in the prayers in January.
Yeah, online.
But you were not switching on your videos?
No.
I think that's my first sight of you, the prayers. That's the 21 days we had.
Okay.
We had 90 days.
Yes, we had 90 days. We had 21 days.
Yes, we had different days. We've been doing it before 2024.
Okay.
That's just the way we work. Now, looking at you now and the person of the past you have described, there's no correlation. God has brought you out. How did you get to this point? How did you heal?
Okay, so aside from the guy who started helping me with the, will I say, that aspect, not really spiritual aspects, the aspect of low self-esteem now and all of that. Yes, your messages. I mentioned to you before now that I have not gone to church for 12 years.
Never stepped church. For 12 years.
I've stepped school.
School, okay.
School. I just go in. What are you doing?
Pull out.
I'm out. So I wouldn't call those ones church. And I came across your message online. Then I came across 21 days fasting. I joined. Then I joined prayers, and I was just like, thank God I'm going to Abuja so that I would just go to the church. But your messages, they gave me this hope that, okay, this is not the end. Like, you can still be. And for some reason, Apostle, for some reason, I just had that mindset that I was a great person. I am a great person. For some reason. I just always had that. And my mom would always tell me that. And also my relatives, they would also say that. And it resonated with me. I could bear witness to that in my spirit. So for some reasons, then when hearing your message, and I'm just like, okay, I can still be the light that I ought to be, regardless of this. And then when you now say things like God's manifold wisdom, bringing messages that people can actually relate to, being a proof to the world that people can go through this and come out of it. Like when people are telling you their story, you can actually relate and say, yes, I understand where you're coming from. I've also been there. This is what I went through. Because people find connection when you share their story. Yes. When they can tell you the story and like, oh, I also went through that, and this was, and they're saying that, okay, you came out of it. Wow, you did. You still found the person that God wants you to be. So your messages really helped, and the Holy Spirit, because the way I came into this church thing and accepted it, because I always be like, no, I'm not church. I don't believe in God. It's just fast, too fast. Wow. Too fast.
I've been called many names, even by Christian folks, for the kind of teachings I teach. Motivational speaker, Antichrist. He's not preaching Christ. He's teaching psychology. You see, the church have not been able to differentiate. We don't understand the message of the cross in applicable terms, such that can heal the mind, not just save the lost, but to make us whole again. There is this, one of my spiritual daughters, hopefully one of these days she will share a story herself. And she shared a testimony in church. She got tired of life. And she went on the bridge to commit suicide, to jump. She was of the other faith, even as at that time. And then she dropped her phone beside her and sat down on that bridge. I can't remember what she said again. Maybe the phone vibrated. Just like, let me even just check. There my message was on Instagram. And it was about suicide. I'm telling people that there is hope. And she watched it. And she said she just started crying. Then she watched the next one. Then the next one. It was when she was wailing there on that bridge that people passing by now understood that she was up to something. That was how they rescued her. Only the message of the cross could have done that. Only the message of the cross.
People read their Bible. You know, when I was going through my Bible recently, when I was coming into all of this, and I came across when the Bible said that God wants everyone to be saved.
Everyone
To be saved. That is his desire. That was the first one. And then I think it was in Peter where the Bible was talking about you haven't been ignorant, living in that past life. You have now come into this light. When I saw that, that was how I forgave myself and saw that I was ignorant.
Yeah.
None of those things I did, I would have done if I knew what the gravity of what I was doing, the implications of what I was doing. I wouldn't have done any of those things. So that word resonated with me, that you were ignorant. So forgive yourself for being ignorant. Now you know better, and that God wants everyone to be saved. So those two helped me and just changed my mindset. My mindset transformed, Apostle. It transformed. That's why I'm even able to say this story, and maybe one day I'll be able to share the story on Max. But I don't really care much for judgments. So maybe one day I'll be able to share the story on Mass. But I don't really care much for judgments. I'm just trying to pass a message that this thing happens, and even though it happens, you can't come out of it.
You can.
You can't come out of it. You can't forgive yourself. God still loves you.
He does.
Because I don't know anything. When I hear people say things of how they've been to this church and this church hurts them and this, that, and I'm like, I've never experienced all this. I've never been to any church. But I came into church, I got the messages, I connected with my teaching priest. I even want to be close to the pastorates I'm not scared of anything. I'm so safe. I feel so safe. Nothing. I feel so safe in this community. So safe in this community. First, thank you. Honestly, thank you so much. There's a lot I cannot remember for one reason or the other, but
what you have shared, it's a lot.
It's a lot. When you're preaching and you're saying that women are saying, because at the point I was like that, I don't want to get married. I just want to be on my own and make my money and get children and adopt children. But when you're saying how there is a need for fatherhood in the presence of the life of the children, I can relate that, okay, there is. You're not speaking gibberish. You're not lying about this. You're not manufacturing these teachings from somewhere else. It's just the truth. If people can really be honest to themselves.
It took me the decision and the willingness to be cancelled to teach what I teach and to teach the way I teach. And I hope one day the church will wake up to the fact that there is a larger demography that the conventional church message is not reaching. And when some of us who can, by the grace of God, reach them, teach, the church should not be blind to think we're against the cross. Sometimes I feel it is difficult for them to realize that we're on the same side.
Yeah.
Just different methods. But it's all good. And your life today is a testimony. I'm feeling quite emotional now. The last time I felt like this was when I was about to board the plane, and a woman said, "Is this Apostle Lazarus?" I said, "Yes." And she held me, and she was crying. My shoulder was drenched. And she was like, "You have no idea what you have done for me. You have no idea." I remember one time I was going to the airport also. A man drive past me. I just came down from my car to enter for departure. And he parked on the road. And he raised his head through the window and was shouting, "Pastor Femi, you have saved my life. You have changed my life." And he was crying. Cars were running, he didn't care. And I felt like, my God. No, the greatest testimony is the testimony of transformation.
Yeah.
And changed lives. I'm so grateful how far God has brought you. And the joy I have today is that if there's any lady, any man who is currently going through the phase he's passed through, and you don't understand the reason why you're doing what you're doing, now you know. And maybe you've been asking yourself, will I ever be free? Will I ever come out of this? Will I ever be forgiven? Now you know that if any man be in Christ Jesus is a new creature. Old things are passed away, and behold, all, not a part of them, not a few, all things have become new. Romans 8:1 says, "There is now therefore no condemnation to them who are in Christ Jesus." We are not condemned. Who walk not after the flesh, there is no condemnation. I love Hebrews 4:16 says, "Let us therefore now come boldly before the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in times of need." And this is the life. You see, when you teach the cross, our story and our life here is the practical demonstration of what the blood of Jesus can do. And I want to thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for sharing these stories. This is so powerful because I know many out there who don't know why they're doing what they're doing will understand and be emancipated. Thank you.
Thank you, Apostle.
And I want to thank everyone who has connected with us on today's episode of Story. If God can do it for her, can bring her out and make her strong for himself, he is still in the business of doing the same. And maybe you are watching and you've not stepped church for a while. You're disappointed and you're probably tired of the judgmental nature of some places you found yourself. Now you know you can get a spiritual family. And one of the ways to know is that you'll be led there. You see, when the sheep hears the voice of their shepherd, they know this is our shepherd. Maybe you've been hearing a particular message, a voice, and God is saying, go there. So you can be taught, you can be trained. Yield to the voice of the Spirit. And God bless you so much. I want to thank you once again for connecting with us on this episode of Story. And this is one story we all will not forget in a hurry. I look forward to seeing you again. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Love you guys. Have a great time. Bye-bye.